What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that's made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other. Our guest today, we have none other than Diana Pomarico. How you doing, Diana?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I tried to get it right. Yes, it's good to have you here today, no doubt. Those of you who might know Diana from our feature in October of 2023. I don't know if you can see it off camera. We'll have to show you later. But Diana was featured as a real producer in Tampa Bay Real Producers Magazine in the October issue. We dove into her story, which we're going to dive into, and I'm sure in more detail here today. So we'll kind of start with that, a little bit of your background. So you were saying off camera that you had a little background as a business owner when you were running your salon. So why don't we even start earlier than that? Like,
Sure.
how did you grow up in this area? How'd you get to Tampa? If not, what eventually brought you here? And you can share the story of how you went from the salon business into
Sure.
how you got interested in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in Tampa.
Okay.
When I was 2, we moved away. My dad is a physician, so kind of wherever he matched for his residency, we had to move to, and then his fellowship. So we were in Washington State, Illinois, Missouri, then back to the Tampa area. But we landed in Palm Harbor and Oldmar, where I spent my formative years.
Okay.
Yep.
So you did grow up as a local native here to the Tampa Bay area. Did you ever think about going anywhere else? Or you just always loved this area?
Oh, I love it here.
Why not,
I
right?
do love other.
It's got everything you need.
places, but yeah, I mean, you can't beat the sunshine.
I get it. It makes sense. So you went to school here.
did.
And then did you have that entrepreneurship type streak early, or how did this whole salon thing start?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I went to college. I got my degree in mass communications.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started working at my neighbor's salon, kind of to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life. I still felt like I was young and, not quite ready to be an adult. So, I really enjoyed watching what those girls were doing, and, they were making pretty good money and had flexibility. So I went and got my cosmetology license, ended up going back to school, getting my MBA. And actually, entrepreneurship was one of my focuses.
Cool.
And business management. So,
Where'd you go to school?
USF.
Okay.
For both degrees.
Stayed local for that too.
Stayed local for that too. So, it's really interesting. I learned a lot, obviously, doing that. And for me, I'm always looking to see, like, how can I grow in what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm never just satisfied, staying where I am. As far like let's grow.
Sure.
There's potential in what I can do. So decided to open up my own salon with a friend.
Nice.
At the time, and I think we owned that for like 10 plus years.
Where was that?
Locally in South Tampa.
Okay.
So did that, and then
Is that salon still there?
no.
So you sold it, and then
No, we just kind of
you closed it down.
Dissolved.
I got you.
It was around the pandemic time, and it was just, sometimes things need to come to an end.
Sure.
And it was a rough time for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes you just need to move on.
Yeah, I get it.
And I was already...
Especially, it's hard to help with people's hair if they can't like physically come into the salon, I guess, right? It's
Yeah.
not like you can make that virtual as much as you might some other
And we
aspects of
weren't allowed
business.
to.
Right.
We were completely shut down. So, and I had been licensed since 2017 in real estate. So I had been doing both for a few years at that point. I wasn't quite ready to let go of doing hair and working at the salon. So after we shut down the business, I did go and rented a chair, with a few friends at somebody else's salon. And, then things got crazy in real estate here.
And with real estate, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was what, 2021-ish, I guess,
So
when the real estate market boomed.
it went insane.
So prior to that, though, it sounded like you got licensed as like a part-time agent for a little while. Is it 2017 you said you got licensed?
Yeah, 2017 I got my license.
What drove that? Like, what was it about real estate that attracted you, or did you always have that plan, or where'd that come out of?
I had been interested in doing it for years. I had friends and family members that were realtors, and, I enjoyed looking at, probably like everybody, going on Zillow and just looking
Sure.
at houses. And my mom was beginning to get really interested in investing. She was purchasing properties, and I would go with her and help her, decide on what she should choose. And I'm like, I really enjoy this. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just went for it.
That's cool. So it was kind of a family interest thing at first.
Sure.
You said your dad is a doctor, you said, right? Is your mom a real estate investor?
No, well, casually. She's,
Yeah.
Because she's a smart lady.
I gotcha.
And she's looking ahead at her future, and she wants to make sure that it's secure. And, she has a few rental properties that do very well. And
Was she ever licensed as an agent?
No.
Okay. So you decided to get licensed, went down that road. And so when you first did it, like you said, your first year being licensed, 2017, was it more of just putting some of your mom's investment property possibly under contract as an agent, or what did that first year look like for you in the real estate world?
So she had purchased a property in early 2017. I didn't get my license until like late spring, early summer. Didn't join a brokerage until, maybe end of the summer. And I had one listing that year, and, I got a good taste of it. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. We're gonna do
You got hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked.
Who was that listing from? Family friend?
Actually, one of the other girl's salon clients was in the mortgage industry. And he had a previous client. I guess he had helped her purchase this property.
Yep.
And he referred her to me.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is that how things started getting going for you in those earlier years, was just through your network at the salon and whoever you talk to and meet with there? I mean, as you were saying off camera, that is culturally one of those type of work environments where people want to share everything, right? And they come in and talk about their life story and trust you, and you've built that relationship. So I would assuming it would be a fairly easier transition to somehow let them know that you're now a licensed agent.
Oh yeah.
And that's where some of that clientele would grow. Is that kind of what your experience was like?
Absolutely. At this point when I got licensed, I think I had been doing hair for around 11 years. And, my clients knew me very well. They had known me since I had graduated college when I started working in the salon. I wasn't even married yet, didn't have kids yet, and at this point they've seen me go through all of these, experiences,
sure.
Life-changing experiences, getting married, having kids, and, they were like family to me, and I got to watch their kids grow up. So, they really liked me, trusted me, and, they were my first real estate clients, their friends and family. And, I think that in that aspect, I was very lucky or fortunate to have that, instant sphere.
Yeah. Plus, you grew up in this area too, so I would have to imagine that might help a little bit with some of the established warm market network that you would have. That as long as people know that you're now in the business, they can come to you and they already trust you, right?
Oh yeah, I made sure that they knew.
Rob wants you to eat that mic for a minute, I guess. All right, good.
Can you hear me?
We have to make sure we hear Diana here, right, Rob?
So
you do you remember what you did in your first year as an agent? What the numbers were like?
So, I mean, if we want to count 2017, I just had the one sale, and it was like
We'll say your first full year.
So first full year, 2018, maybe like 5 million.
Okay. So, I mean, that's healthy for your first full year in the business.
Something like
all
that.
All warm market contacts mostly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody was all of my clients I either already knew, or it was somebody that I knew through somebody else.
Yep. Did you always know that you were going to eventually get into real estate full time and walk away from the salon business?
That was my plan.
It was.
It was.
Okay.
At first it started with if I could just do 1 or 2 sales a year, to supplement my income, afford these very expensive children that I have, and maybe take a vacation. I'm good. You know?
Makes sense.
And then it's like, okay, I kept getting referrals, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could do this full time.
Sure.
And not do hair and not stand on my feet all day.
Yep.
Was
there a year or a point where you were like, wow, this is really taking off? Is there something that comes to mind where you were like, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be?
Yeah. So, it was 2019 so 2 years in, I made top agent at my brokerage, and
which is the Palermo Real Estate Professionals, right? Yep.
Inc.
Throw a little ink in there.
And it was like, I've always been very competitive, and I was like, wow, 2 years and I did this.
Yeah.
That's great. Maybe I could do this. You know, and it's like, okay, but is it steady enough? Am I going to continue to get these referrals consistently enough where I could stop doing hair? And then it was 2021 where everything just exploded. And I was like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense. That was a big year for many people, for sure.
It was a good year.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Did your business, and to this day, is your business still 100% focused on just referral generation and network?
100%.
Okay. So never really invested in any sort of other marketing programs or lead generation sources, none of that stuff?
Never.
Very cool.
And I don't want to.
And what's been your best year ever? Was it 2021 so far?
2022 was pretty good. I think it was very close. I think those 2 years were very close in numbers. 2022 will be the year that I beat my broker.
Nice.
And nobody had accomplished that in the 20 years that he had his business.
I'm sure he loved that.
He did.
I'm sure he did.
Because if I'm doing well, that means he's doing well.
Absolutely. How many people, how many agents? I haven't actually interviewed anybody, I don't think. No, I haven't for sure, from your brokerage. So you are the first one that we've had from your team. How big is the brokerage? How many agents are there? Do you know?
I would say there are probably like 40 active agents.
Okay.
Something like that. Close
to
that number.
We got number one here in the studio today, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, it's small boutique brokerage, which is, you know, what I wanted, something small.
And they're based out of South Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you said off camera that relationship also started through the salon,
it did.
Right? It was one of your clients, I believe, something like that?
So it was one of the other girls. My broker was one of the other girls' clients.
Okay.
So I had, you know, known him already for years by the time I got licensed. Although I did not start at his brokerage. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. A friend was already working with his company and, you know, who was my business partner in the salon.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what, let me try to do my own thing. You know, we do everything else together. And you know what, it was a great place where I started, great people, but it just wasn't the right fit.
Yep.
So then after a few months, I reached out to Michael and I said, you know, I'd love to, you know, have a conversation and see if I'm a good fit, you know, with your brokerage.
Makes sense. Yeah. And it's worked out ever since.
It's worked out ever since.
So are most of your focus, Diana, in South Tampa?
I would say the majority of my transactions do take place in South Tampa. However, I mean, I've got a good amount that takes place all around the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
You know, just having lived in different parts, you know, since I've been here since 1993, I have a good idea and a lot of knowledge of different neighborhoods and areas.
Now, what type of clients do you generally work with? Who do you love to serve? Is it your typical, you know, residential seller and buyer, or do you work a lot with investors? I know you said your mom was in that space.
No, mostly, you know, residential sellers and buyers.
Okay.
I don't have too much interest in working with investors. No offense. But, you know, I feel like they're all looking for a deal.
Sure.
You know, aren't we all?
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like there's a lot of time wasted.
Makes sense.
With them. Sorry.
So ideally you want to work, is there a particular niche that you feel like you serve really well?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of first-time home buyers.
Okay.
I work with everybody.
Okay.
I don't say no. I've had people in the past say, oh, I didn't think you worked with price points this low. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, of course.
There's not a ton of low price points in South Tampa, though.
Well, no. But they do exist out there, or they did.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and not everybody can afford the $3 million plus homes.
Right.
You know, I feel like the majority of normal people are in the lower price points, and that's our bread and butter. You know, that's what we're doing more of versus, you know, these luxury multi-million-dollar listings.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
In your experience now, knowing that you had the salon business, you obviously now really run. I mean, we all, even though you're working with a brokerage, you are your own professional when it comes to the real estate side. It's your own business. So what are some of the distinctions between the two businesses? Do you miss the salon side? Do you feel like this is really more of your cup of tea for any specific reason? What do you love about the real estate? What do you miss, if anything, about the salon biz?
So I get asked that question a lot. You know, do you miss doing hair? Do you miss working in the salon? I don't miss doing hair from the perspective of just having to stand all day and, the long hours and working every single weekend. I don't miss that, but I do miss working in the salon as far as, the socialization aspect, getting
the camaraderie of the clients. Yeah.
I mean, the clients, the other girls, I have made some really amazing friendships over the years with the salon girls. And
do any of them want to work with you in real estate?
Actually, no, there is one that did get her license and actually joined Palermo.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I was curious if you had an intent of wanting to build your own team one day or grow in that capacity, or are you content doing what you're doing? Running is you're not growing a team now, I think, right?
No,
you're focused on individual volume and production.
Yeah, I'm a one woman show.
Right.
Maybe someday I'll be interested in having a team. Right now, I'm happy just taking it all on.
Yeah.
Myself. But I think. Maybe it was off camera I mentioned, I like to grow.
Sure.
And take things as far as I can.
Maybe that is a next step for you to grow.
Yeah. So team, I do have plans to get my broker's license.
Okay.
Not necessarily to, start my own brokerage, but maybe someday. But, because, I can. Just why not?
Yeah. It's a natural step.
Yeah.
No doubt. What do you think has been one of the biggest challenges that you had to face when you were trying to transition into real estate and learn this business? Anything come to mind that you felt like was like a oh crap type moment where you had to learn something, fix something, overcome a challenge, overcome an obstacle?
Oh gosh. Yeah, there have been a lot of challenges. I think, of course, not all transactions can be smooth and easy.
Sure. Yeah.
Some are, and that's great when they are. But sometimes, things come up that are unexpected. And my thing is to be able to communicate with the other parties, the other agent, whoever I need to communicate with, like, let's figure out a solution. Let's problem solve. One situation comes to mind where there was an issue, ever since the condo collapse in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Things have changed, with insurance companies and condo buildings, and you have all of these requirements and, a lot of, or, to get a loan, they need to be able to know that this isn't a risky thing for them to take on, and in this particular situation, the lender was not getting the answer they needed from this particular condominium. And the buyer's agent was like, that's it. We're canceling. It's falling apart. I'm out. I'm on vacation. I can't deal with this. And I'm like, well, that's not how we solve this.
Might not be the way to get to the finish line.
This is not how we get to close.
Right.
So I made some phone calls, reached out to the sellers, and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. He's like, hold on. I know the president of the HOA. They'll get in touch with whoever they need to get in touch with. We're going to get this resolved. And, and it closed.
Yeah.
We made it happen. So
sometimes you got to work through the layers, right?
Yeah.
And I think you brought up an interesting point, because with Real Producers, one of the main missions of our platform is to create a platform that top agents can collaborate a little bit more, right? And as you know, so many of your deals are in a co-op type arrangement with an agent on the other side. And a lot of times that can cause deals to fall apart if those two agents are not collaborating and not communicating very clearly.
Yeah.
And so I've seen that from my perspective, and I've heard those stories time and time again. And so it's one of the reasons why we do what we do, is to hopefully create a platform so that at our events or even through anything, we just did a mastermind yesterday with 12 top agents over at the Center Club. And for a couple of hours, actually, we focused on various topics and allowed them to collaborate and share best practices. And I think that's so important. If you're really going to take the real estate industry to the next level, agents have to have that mindset rather than the competitor, I don't want to work with that person mindset,
totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
And, I say it all the time. It's like, even though I'm representing my buyer or seller and their best interests, you are not my enemy.
Sure.
The other agent. We're a team.
We're in it together. Yeah.
We're in this together. And if I act like you're my enemy, like we're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be contentious. It could be amicable. It could be friendly, you know, and I think that that's important because you may need to work with this person again in the future.
No doubt.
You know?
Yeah.
So
what are some of, or maybe it's one thing, of the most rewarding experiences in real estate for you? Like, what is it about this role, this business that fulfills you most?
Oh my goodness. I've met so many awesome people. You know, aside from working with people I already knew, you know, I'm getting their friends and family, and, you know, you form this bond with people when you're helping them make the biggest purchase of their life.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's hard to not, you know, form these friendships and continue them for years. And that's kind of been my mentality from day one, is I want things to happen organically. I don't want to have to pay for a lead and pay for all this marketing and just have random people showing up in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I love working with people who know me, trust me, and refer me to their friends and family, and that I can, you know, form those bonds with them as well.
Well, you're doing something right in that area, or else it wouldn't have grown as quickly as it has, because it's unusual. You know, there are different ways that agents grow their business, right? Sure. And I've seen that from the people I've interviewed, from the people in the magazine. Some of them are lead machines and invest a lot of money and resources into growing a huge lead machine, and it's worked for them, right? Sure. Other people have taken your approach and just focused on referrals only and, you know, organic relationships and let things grow. Usually that's going to be a slower growth.
Sure.
But for many people, that's the way it's more fulfilling and it works. Yeah. But there are some people who try to take that approach, and it's just really hard for them to ever get traction, right? And ever get to the next level. So I'm curious if you have any thoughts on, why do you think the referral model, or just the organic model that you've really done well with, why has it worked so well for you, other than the fact that you're just a great person and people love you? So is there any specific strategies that you feel like you've implemented that have been a cornerstone for the success that you've seen on this referral side?
You know, I think for me, I just believe in always doing the right thing. I am honest to a fault. If I don't think that a property is going to be a good fit for you, you know, not just now, but maybe in the future, just thinking from a resale perspective, you know, are you going to have a hard time selling this house for whatever reason, the location, whatever, you know, but you've fallen in love with it. At the end of the day, it's the buyer's decision if they want to make a purchase.
Sure.
But I'm going to make sure that I've given them all of the information possible. I'm always going to tell them the truth. I communicate very well. And my clients know, if they send me a text message at 10 o'clock at night, I'm responding by 10:02, you know, and a lot of people have, you know, and that's okay to have boundaries. Not everybody wants to respond to clients. They're going to say, you know what, it's bedtime, whatever it is.
Sure.
And that's okay, you know, but I think a lot of people really appreciate that, oh my gosh, if they thought of something that's, you know, going to keep them up at night and they need to shoot me a quick text to get reassurance,
you're going to be there. Yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to answer your text.
Right.
I'm going to respond to your call. So.
Do you remember the most number of deals you've done in a year? 12 in a 12-month cycle?
The most, I don't think it's ever gone over like 30s, high 30s.
Okay. I mean, that's really healthy for someone who's only referral based, right?
Yeah.
Who's just building a referral business. I think we just had new numbers come out, right? 2023 data.
Yeah.
Because now we have our new list, which those of you who are watching live, you'll notice shortly we have a brand new top 500 list for Tampa Bay Real Producers, and you'll see that coming out on our Facebook page and all of our channels. Diana did make the top 500 again for this year again. So again, impressive, being that it came 100% really from referrals, as we're finding out now. I think it was in the mid-20s this past year for you in terms of data goes,
yes.
But another, you know, top 500 performance for you for the year. So on the personal side, who don't know you that well, let me get some water here.
Sure, go for it.
There we go. You mentioned earlier that you're married with children.
Yeah.
Right? And your kids are 9 and 12, is that what you said?
Yeah, Frankie and Francesca.
Now, are your husband Italian as well?
He is. Well, I'm not. He's the Italian one.
You're not. Okay.
I am not. My family originates from Colombia,
really?
In South America.
Did you grow up there?
I am first generation American.
Okay.
I was born here. My parents came in the 80s, shortly before I was born. And I did visit a lot.
Yeah.
I would spend summers there.
I love Colombia. I've been there a few times. Yeah.
Amazing.
Medellin is really all I've been to, but I absolutely fell in love with it.
So my family is from Barranquilla, which is where some people may know Shakira's from, and Sofia Vergara.
Okay.
And
some famous people.
Yeah, we've got a few.
It's a beautiful country for sure. I mean, the people also are beautiful and friendly and fun and
happy.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the culture when I was down there.
Dance and have a good time.
For sure.
So so that's where my family's from, and I should say I'm from.
Sure.
You know, and my husband's family's originally from Italy. His grandmother came over, on a boat when she was 6 months old to Ellis Island, and yeah.
When did you guys get married?
2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was he one of the salon clients?
No.
That was prior to the salon, I guess, wasn't it?
Funny. Even better, we met in high school.
Okay.
We both went to Clearwater Central Catholic.
Nice.
He was a senior, I was a sophomore, and the rest is history.
What do you guys love to do for fun, just to stay busy?
Oh my gosh. So we do a lot. Our kids are, I think, like the luckiest kids alive. They get to experience a lot of cool things. We take them to, Bucks games and cruises. And, we like to go to concerts and comedy shows. And
are you guys big sports fans?
Yeah, big Bucks fans.
Bucks are your team?
Bucks are our people. And
big game Monday night, huh?
Yeah.
Playoffs are right around the corner.
My husband will be there with Frankie.
Oh, that's cool.
And some friends.
Nice.
So yeah.
That'd be cool. Do you have season tickets to the Bucks?
We did one year. We opted not to get the season tickets this year. But we've still gone to quite a few games. Yeah. Just kind of got to pick and choose which ones we wanted to go to.
Do your kids play sports, or are they involved in any other community type activities?
So our Frankie, who is 12 and in 6th grade, he plays basketball. Okay. That's his sport. I mean, he also plays flag football, but basketball, he's on several different leagues. He plays for the Y, he plays for school, he plays for now a travel team. So he is a busy kid.
Yeah. As from an agent standpoint, even like that network and the space that usually brings with meeting like parents from families and stuff. I mean, that's always even good for business. I know my boys play baseball. We live in Land O'Lakes, but when you go to the games, you'll see agents with their signs and their billboards up like all over the fields and stuff like that. I'm sure it is a way to be able to kind of tap into that community too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I know I've talked a lot about the business I've gotten from my salon clients and whatnot, but a lot of the parents from school have been incredible supporters and cheerleaders. My biggest sale to date, my 2 biggest sales to date were with parents from the school.
Very cool. So yeah, makes sense. I mean, once you kind of know what community you're going to be hunkered down in and which one you want to serve at the highest levels, then your reputation kind of takes shape from there and allows you to serve that community at a higher level, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. So a couple rapid fire questions I have for you for people to get to know you a little bit more. Do you have a favorite book or seminar or even, an author maybe that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally?
I mean, nothing real estate related.
Doesn't have to be.
I read a lot over the years. I was a big reader. My nose was always in a book.
Okay. What type of books?
I loved it all. Suspense, thrillers, romance, mystery novels. Dan Brown.
So you're into the fiction world, the novel world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Brown, who wrote The Da Vinci Code. I read all of his books in probably like a 1 month span. And, and a lot of these books are very intellectual and you're learning a lot of things. Obviously, a lot of it is fake, but, and there's a lot of history, like real history that you're learning. So I find that fascinating.
Do you have one that stands out?
I figured as much.
That you like the best?
Of his novels?
Not just any book in general.
Yeah, I would say the Da Vinci Code.
That one?
Yeah, I mean, it's been years, so don't ask me any questions about it now. But yeah.
I think they built the movie off of it, didn't they?
They did. The movie wasn't as good.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. Do you have a favorite food?
Oh, yeah. I love lobster and shrimp.
Lobster gal.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a shellfish girl.
There you go.
Love some steak.
I mean, you can't not say steak if you grew up in Colombia or at least
Yeah,
have the Colombian blood,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all foods. Honestly, there's nothing I won't try.
And Tampa has
once.
a good, diverse type of options that you have in this area. So
I think so. I think we have some really great restaurants.
no doubt. Yeah. Especially in South Tampa.
Especially.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
Oh, gosh. Friends.
You're a Friends gal, huh?
Friends girl. Yeah, I grew up with them.
Watching the reruns nowadays?
Always. And yeah, I remember when the series ended, I cried.
I thought you were going to say when Matthew Perry passed that you cried.
I also cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tragic. That just happened recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
We don't have to. We don't want to. We don't want to have you cry here on the show.
Yeah. You grow up watching these people and they're just these, actors playing these roles.
Yeah.
But,
you get to feel like you know them.
You get to feel like you know them.
Right.
And
I know.
it's yeah.
I get it.
It's sad.
If you ever met one of them, what would you say?
Oh, I love you. Thank you for making me laugh all those years.
They were a good show. I mean, I'm not really a Friends fan per se. My wife is though, so she still watches the reruns sometimes when it's nighttime. She'll put them on. But I actually liked Seinfeld. That was my thing.
That was going to be my next one.
Seinfeld was my show.
Seinfeld. My husband and I watched Seinfeld together a lot. I even remember one Christmas getting him. I don't think it was VHS. It had to have been DVDs. We're not going to go that far back. It was like the whole collection.
Yeah, I have it too. Yeah.
We still
I haven't watched it in a long time because everything's on Netflix now anyway, but
know.
I do have those DVDs at the house somewhere for sure. So, couple last things so this is what I would call the legacy question, right? For getting you to think a little bit about, at some point, you seem very young. I'm sure you're very energetic and you have a lot of time still, I would imagine, in the real estate world and in this business. But at some point, you would maybe be sitting back and thinking about your legacy and what you'd want to be most remembered for, whether that's in real estate or even just as a person. But when you think about those thoughts, what do you think would matter to you the most as far as what you'd want to be most remembered for?
That I always did the right thing, that I was honest, and that I always did what was in somebody's best interest.
Okay. And I think your clients obviously must feel that or else they wouldn't be coming back, right?
Yeah.
And giving you more referrals as they do at this point. So it was cool to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
For people who might not have met you or gotten to know your story, hopefully they learned a little something more about Diana Pomarico. Did I say that right? Yes.
Pomarico. I mean,
so close.
You probably said it the right way.
A couple different
ways.
The right
Italian way.
Yes, exactly. We'll have to have you back at some point, and maybe even if you decide to build a team, we can talk about that or have you involved in some of the events that we're putting on for real producers.
I would love to.
But if anybody wants to pick your brain or just reach out to you to be able to ask a couple follow-up questions, what's the best way to do that?
So you can reach me through Instagram at Diana Sells Tampa Bay. You can reach me on my cell anytime, 727-481-8363.
Cool. We'll put that up in the description too, on the YouTube channel and on the different platforms that we have. But we end the episode the way we do all of them, which is with a challenge. And the goal, if you took the time, whether you're live on Facebook or on the YouTube channel, or you're watching this episode on any of our platforms, what is one specific action step that you can take from the conversation with Diana today that you think will help you and move you forward in your professional or, personal lives or career? And if you can find one action step, then this time would be worth it. Maybe you need to pick up one of the books that she mentioned, or you just need to have a conversation with someone like Diana about how she's built her business 100% on referrals. There's some strategies there that I'm sure that she's maybe not even aware of, that she's just doing because of the fact that that's who she is and she lives her business out loud. But it's impressive when you can be a consistent performer and rely 100% on organic production. And Diana's obviously done that. So that would be something I know many of you would want to try to, replicate and emulate into your business as well. Maybe you need to start a salon. I mean, who knows? But if there's a certain action step that you can take from this conversation, then that's going to make this time worth it. And I would encourage you to do that right now. Don't wait so you can move forward in some direction after this conversation. So we will, of course, see you on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. And stay classy. We'll see you then.